Good morning and welcome to First Cup. Today, we're talking about compassion, not just the kind of compassion we have for our children when they stumble as they grow, and not the kind of compassion we feel for others who have suffered catastrophic storms that we've seen on the news. And not even the kind of compassion we feel when we read Anne Frank's diary or we learn about the Trail of Tears or the suffering of the slave trade. All those shades of compassion are important. They are elemental. They're essential to feel. But today I want to share with you another kind of compassion, a more difficult and more rare compassion, a far deeper, more emotional compassion. This deep compassion, this difficult and rare compassion is not entirely unfamiliar to most of us. But it's that gut-wrenching, bitter feeling that you get when you've lost a parent, but you feel the grief of your children. This kind of compassion, the fierce and brutal compassion, is by the grace of goodness not something that we have to endure often, but it's fast becoming part of this American life. It's that kind of compassion that you feel when you learn someone is ill, when someone is facing impossible situations, that gut-wrenching feeling when your neighbor loses their home in a storm and you slept through it in your bed. It's not something we feel all the time, but it's becoming more common, isn't it? When the woman who has to rely on food stamps and cash aid assistance, despite having two jobs, gets cut off. When a child at the elementary school is denied life-saving medications because the family cannot afford health care insurance. They cannot pay for the medication out of pocket. When the father who coaches the football team is nabbed by masked men, masked agents of the government, when he drops his kids off at school. These are not the worst of the worst, folks. They are not deranged criminals. In fact, they are red, white, and blue Americans. They are as white as the lilies in the field. They are like you and me. They are like every American. If you understand this, when you understand this, then I'm certain many of us will understand that anguish and find this fierce. Pardon me. Here in our little congregation of the foothills, we've started to feel that deep compassion. We have a family, a dad, a mom, three boys, all under the age of 10. They lost their SNAP benefits this week. Mom is working hard, 35 hours a week, and dad, bless him, he's a volunteer firefighter who suffered a disability on the job. So he stays at home and takes care of the 2-year-old, manages the housework, makes sure that the family is okay. We all feel for this family. They are our family. And as families do, We are here to help. We are thankful that we can help. But we're just one small congregation, a small tribe in the foothills of the Sierra. I know there will be others who will need help right here. I know that we will do our best to help, but I also know we are not alone. The crisis in our community is nationwide, folks. Just a year ago, just 1 year ago, we were all doing a little bit better, weren't we? That's why I'm reflecting on compassion this Sunday. And not the polite kind, not the kind that you use your imagination to feel, not even the kind when a catastrophic event happens and you see it on your phone. Because, folks, we are all in this catastrophic shitstorm together. This entire nation needs to stop this madness, stop ignoring the reality of the crisis upon our doorstep, and dig deep for compassion, for community passion, which every single one of us has inside, and we each will someday need. And I'm not going to play the blame game here. Politics is just the entertainment division of the ruling class. And brothers and sisters, none of us are part of that class, are we? Mm-mm. So it's not left versus right, red versus blue. It ain't immigrants stealing your jobs. It's not about who you love or what you want to be when you grow up. It's about the people who are making the money and the rest of us. Friends, it's about the haves and the have-nots. Dr. King taught us that. It's between the haves and the have-nots. And there is a lot less to have than ever before. Yet we see the rich getting richer. We see the greatest transfer of wealth going in the wrong direction. All of us, I think, compassion is an essential element to combating the inequalities of this country. For the have-nots and the have-not for much longers. We should just remember that compassion is alien language on a spreadsheet. It doesn't compute. It doesn't add up. Because compassion is of the heart. Compassion is of the human spirit. And there's no algorithm, no spreadsheet that can make sense of that. So let's dig deep for our compassion and confuse the fuck out of those bastards. I thank you for joining me today on this first cup. I'll be back next Sunday with another short sermon. We're attempting to boost our subscriptions here at the Ripple Revolver to over 100 by the end of this year. The Ripple Revolver on Substack is a free subscription. We are blessed to have a single benefactor who has pledged to fund this project through January of 2029. If we can garner 100 free subscriptions, by the end of this year. So help us, won't you? Please, friends, subscribe today. Subscribe now. Keep this thread alive. Keep the Ripple Revolver on Substack. I'm Brother Dean. Thank you for watching First Cup. Take care, be kind, and do the right thing. Till next week.